I wasn't expecting to see you.
I know. I just had to.
Sometimes the people who change our lives don't walk in wearing a suit or holding flowers. Sometimes they just come to fix a broken light. This story isn't about wealth or status. It's about timing, kindness, and the spark that appears when two lonely hearts find each other in the most unexpected place. It was late October, just after a rainstorm, when Daniel pulled into the long driveway of a quiet suburban home. He worked as an electrician, not for any big company, just a hardworking man who took jobs wherever he could find them. The address on his paper said, Ellen Matthews, 47, Maplewood Drive. He didn't know her. Just another job, just another light to fix. When he stepped out of his truck, the air smelled of wet leaves and pine. He looked up at the garage, saw the light flickering weakly, and grabbed his toolbox. After knocking on the side door, he waited until she appeared. Ellen, mid-40s, light brown hair tied loosely, wearing a sweater that looked like it had seen too many quiet evenings alone. Her smile was polite, tired, but kind. She said, "Hi there, you must be Daniel?" He nodded. "Yes, ma'am." "You called about a light not working?" "Yeah," she replied softly. "It's been acting strange for days. Keeps flickering every time it rains." Daniel nodded again and said, "All right, I'll take a look. Shouldn't take long." Ellen smiled faintly, stepping back to let him pass. "Thank you. It's just, I hate the dark out here." Something about the way she said that stayed with him. Not fear of the dark itself, but fear of being alone in it. Daniel climbed the ladder, working in silence. Every so often he could feel her watching from the porch. When he finally got the light working again, it shone bright and warm, casting a soft glow across the wet driveway. Ellen gasped and smiled. "Oh, it actually looks beautiful," Daniel chuckled. "It's just a light, ma'am." "No," she said quietly. "It's more than that. You fixed something I couldn't." He nodded, closing his toolbox. He started to leave, but she stopped him. "Wait, would you like some coffee before you go?" "You look like you've been working all day." He hesitated. Usually he didn't mix work with personal moments, but there was something in her eyes, that same loneliness, that made him say yes. Inside, the house was warm but quiet. Family photos lined the walls, a husband in some, a teenage daughter in others. Daniel noticed the man in the pictures wasn't around. "Your husband not home?" he asked gently. Ellen hesitated, then said, "No, he passed away 3 years ago." Daniel froze. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to," she interrupted softly. "It's all right. You didn't know. It's just been hard, that's all." They talked over coffee for almost an hour, about life, work, and the small, lonely spaces that time leaves behind. For the first time in years, Ellen laughed. And for the first time in months, Daniel didn't feel invisible. When he stood to leave, she followed him to the door. Then she said something that caught him completely off guard. "You're handsome, you know that?" Daniel froze. He wasn't used to compliments, not like that. He turned slowly, met her eyes, and smiled awkwardly. "Ma'am, that's kind of you to say," she smiled softly. "It's just the truth." The words hung in the air, simple but heavy. He left that night thinking about her voice, about the warmth in her eyes. A week later, he got another call. Same number. "Hey, Daniel," she said on the phone. "The porch light's acting up again. You think you could come by?" He smiled to himself. That light was perfectly fine, but he went anyway. This time she'd baked cookies. They sat in her kitchen talking for hours, about music, about movies, about the things they both missed. He told her about growing up in Georgia, working hard, and how people often judged him before they even knew him. "Sometimes," he said, "I fix lights for folks who won't even look me in the eye. Like they think I'm trouble just because I'm me." Ellen looked at him, her eyes soft and certain. "You're not trouble, Daniel. You're light. You just don't see it yet." That night when he left, she walked him out to his truck again. The porch light glowed steady, no flickers this time. But something else flickered between them, a warmth neither could deny anymore. As the weeks passed, small-town whispers began to spread. "Ellen Matthews has that electrician over again. She's seeing a younger man. A black man, too." The rumor stung. Not just Daniel, but Ellen, too. She saw the stares at the grocery store, the smirks from neighbors. Daniel tried to distance himself to protect her. "Maybe I shouldn't come by anymore," he said quietly one evening. "Folks are talking." She looked at him firmly. Let them talk. They don't know what it's like to feel alive again. Those words silenced his doubts. From that day on, he stopped caring what the town thought. He showed up anyway, to fix her light, her sink, her heart. One stormy night, a tree branch fell across her driveway and the power went out completely. Ellen called him in a panic. "I can't see anything," she whispered. "I'm scared." He didn't hesitate. "I'm on my way." He drove through the rain, lightning flashing across the sky. When he arrived, she was sitting on the porch, wrapped in a blanket, a candle trembling in her hand. He worked fast, fixing the fuse box as rain poured over him. When the lights finally came back, she stood there, tears in her eyes, candle still flickering in her palm. "You always show up when I need you most," she said softly. Daniel smiled. "Guess that's what I do. Fix things." She shook her head. "Not just things, Daniel. Me." Before he could say a word, she stepped closer and kissed him. It wasn't a movie kiss. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. Two souls colliding after years of loneliness. When she pulled away, she whispered, "You're handsome, you know that?" Daniel laughed softly. "You keep saying that." "Because it's true," she smiled. "Every single time." After that night, they stopped pretending. Daniel began spending weekends at Ellen's house, fixing, repairing, building. But what they were really building was a life together. He met her daughter, Lily, who at first didn't understand. But when she saw how Daniel treated her mother, with patience, laughter, and care, she smiled again for the first time in years. They planted a garden that spring. He taught her how to wire an outlet. She taught him how to bake blueberry pie. It wasn't perfect. The world still whispered. But inside that house there was peace. When the town held its annual fall festival, Ellen asked Daniel to go with her. He hesitated. He knew how people could stare. But she held his hand and said, "Let's show them what love looks like." So they went hand in hand. And yes, people stared, but others smiled. One of Ellen's old friends came up to her and said, "He seems like a good man." Ellen smiled and replied, "He is. He's the best thing that ever happened to me." In that moment, Daniel realized he didn't need anyone else's approval. The woman beside him, she was his peace, his home, his light. 6 months later, on a quiet evening, Daniel stood in front of the same garage where it all began. He wasn't holding a toolbox this time. He was holding a small ring box. When Ellen stepped outside, surprised, he took a deep breath. "You called me to fix your light once," he said, "but I think I was sent to find something else." Ellen smiled, tears forming in her eyes. Daniel continued, "You showed me love I didn't think I deserved. You gave me peace I didn't know I needed. Ellen Matthews, will you marry me?" Her laughter broke through her tears as she whispered, "Yes, 1,000 times yes." When he slipped the ring on her finger, the porch light above them flickered once, then glowed bright and steady as if blessing them both. Months later, their home became known around town, not for gossip, but for kindness. Daniel opened his own small electrical business and Ellen ran it with him. They called it Bright Hearts Electric. Every time he fixed a light, Daniel would smile and say, "Sometimes fixing the light is just the beginning." And on quiet nights, when they sat together under that same golden porch light, Ellen would lean her head on his shoulder and whisper, "You're handsome, you know that?" Daniel would smile and reply, "And you're the light that found me in the dark." Sometimes love doesn't arrive wrapped in perfection. Sometimes it walks in with a toolbox, a kind smile, and the courage to fix what's been broken, inside and out. Because love doesn't care about color, age, or past. It just wants two hearts brave enough to glow again. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still believes in second chances.